Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another third-party unlicensed 1/6 scale figure unboxing and review. Today, we're taking a look at the present toys Skeleton Knight, aka Nicolas Cage as Ghost Rider. Now, I got mine at a discount from KG Hobby. I've popped a link to their site in the description for your reference purposes only. This is by no means a promotional video, it's a review. If you're heading down to the description, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button, so you're notified as soon as a brand new third-party figure review goes live on the channel. As for the box art, this is some sick-looking artwork. We've got Ghost Rider's skull down below, with flames absolutely everywhere. And the entire box is covered in this high gloss finish. I really like that. At first, I didn't quite know what this said, but under closer inspection, even though the font is crazy, it says Skeleton Knight up top. On the side of the box, the flames continue to wrap around from the front cover, another Present Toys logo, and a cheeky little Ghost Rider skull in the background. I'm starting to sense a pattern now on the back of the box. Another skull, Skeleton Knight up top, then down below, warnings and legal information. Present Toys, they do slipcovers, so I'm fully expecting to see more artwork underneath it. Yep, just as I thought, there's even more to look at. Although this image of Ghost Rider comes across more realistic versus what was printed on the slipcover. Below it, Present Toys and Skeleton Knight once more. On the side of the box, a plain glossy black background with Present Toys on it. Then around the back, his fist wearing a leather glove with the chain wrapped around it and flames coming off it. Oh, and the same warnings and legal information that were printed on the outside of the box. Now you see, I never owned the Hot Toys Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider. It's something I've always wanted, but the one thing that held me back from getting it was the pleather outfit. We all know what happens to pleather over the years. It dries out, it flakes, it disintegrates into nothing. But the benefit with going Present Toys for Ghost Rider is his outfit is genuine leather. Third-party companies now are using real leather for their outfits. That's why I decided to get this. First in-hand impressions for him. So far, so good. I'm loving the outfit, and while I won't be rocking him with this head sculpt on, I don't mind the way it looks at all. What we're going to do now is get all of his accessories laid out in the light box, and take a closer look at everything he comes with. Starting off with the display base first. I've got so many questions for Present Toys about this. Number one, why is it such a big base? And number two, why is the crotch grabber all the way at the back here? He's going to be standing at the back of the base. All of this stuff, completely wasted space. But the most important question I have is, why Skeleton Knight? I know it's the third-party name, but I would have preferred this to be left blank versus etching Skeleton Knight onto the metal nameplate. You're already recasting stuff, you're making an IP-infringing figure, you may as well just put Ghost Rider on the front of the base on the nameplate. Now up top, this looks 3D and textural. It's just a really high quality 2D print. This is smooth as, there's no grippy texture. Maybe the reason why they went so big for this was to accommodate those flame effects, perhaps. Your guess is as good as mine on that. Nobody really knows why third-party companies do the things they do. Now we get two head sculpts. We'll go into way more detail on both of these sculpts a little bit later. For now, all you need to know is we've got the Nicolas Cage one. This was installed on him right out of the box. And the Ghost Rider sculpt, which does have a light-up effect inside of it. These are some big flame effects. They will fit on the base for those wondering. They're cast out of this soft, rubbery-ish, translucent PVC plastic. There's a little bit of shading on the bottom, this darker orange. I would have liked a touch more shading even. I'm probably going to have them arranged like that on the display base surrounding Ghost Rider. They've given us two different chain options. They're both made of die cast. This one is attached to a flame effect, no shading on it, unfortunately. Whereas the other, still a real metal chain, but we've got the spike on the end of it. This is made of plastic painted in shiny metallic silver. This one is meant to be wrapped around him. I'll show you what that looks like when we get Ghost Rider out here. They've given us both versions of his shotgun. We get the normal one with a working action, you can even see straight through it when you bring this piece down, and some sculpted detail reveals itself. This silver panel, it looks sculpted, like there's a black wash in the detail, but it isn't. This is a print on the surface. Very clever Present Toys. There's a wood grain effect on these panels, but no silver chipping or dry brushing on the gunmetal pieces. This, my favourite of the two shotguns. It's the Hellfire version. They've used a glossy paint for the fiery bits. There's a lighter dry brush on the organic black nasty pieces. But isn't this chain and the spike meant to be silver? I could be misremembering. I need to go back and rewatch Ghost Rider. It's been years. And lastly, a full array of hands, including these ones with detachable flame effects on them. These are a soft PVC plastic, and they're specifically molded to slot into these hands. They sit really flush, actually. Two closed fists. Watch out for the spikes. They're a little prickly. They're soft, so they shouldn't do any damage to your fingers when you're trying to install these, and swapping them out for me so far has been easy as. Then lastly, a trigger finger hand and a gripping hand. These were installed on him right out of the box. What we're going to do now is get Ghost Rider himself out here. Standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy poses or accessories or anything like that. Except I have now converted him to Ghost Rider from Johnny. I ditched the Nick Cage head sculpt. We'll convert him back when we take him off the turntable, but for now I couldn't pass up the opportunity to look at him like this on the turntable as full-on Ghost Rider. It was the right call, it turns out, because he has so much presence. That flaming skull looks mean as. Proportions-wise, he's spot on, very realistic, like a real dude in a Ghost Rider outfit standing in front of me. And the outfit, on top of that well-proportioned body, as you already know, is genuine leather. He's got the spikes on his gauntlets, on his hands, on his shoulders, the real metal chain over the top of everything, working zippers and pockets. This guy turned out so much better than I was expecting. I thought we'd start off with Johnny first, then we'll transition to his flaming skull head sculpt, arguably and undeniably the coolest of the two sculpts. Up close and personal, kicking things off with this head sculpt. It's good. I think it's a recast of the Hot Toys Nicolas Cage sculpt, perhaps? If it is, they've done a decent job with the paint applications. There's a subtle 5 o'clock shadow down below, a little bit of red speckling for skin texture, but it's not overdone. There's even some wrinkling for the forehead up top. And the fringe is a separate piece of plastic, it's PVC, that sits over the forehead and casts a shadow on it, making it look more realistic. How's the likeness to Nicolas Cage? Right there, I see it. There still. Front on, I start to lose it, not as much, but then it's back again at the 3/4 turn. This is a sculpt where, if you decide to use it, you're going to have to dial in the angle just right to bring out the likeness. Oh hell yes, that right there is Ghost Rider. Who's going to be displaying him with the Nicolas Cage head sculpt? Certainly not me. This sculpt is never going to come off the body after this review is done. The skull is really nicely defined with all of the nooks and crannies. There's black paint around the eye sockets, in the nose, and there's a black wash in between the teeth. There's even some speckling of black paint on the surface. The jaw is articulated. It's a little bit loose on mine. If you've got this issue, I would suggest taking the jaw off, popping some blue tack in the holes, and that should tighten it up a touch. I've not done that yet on mine, but I fully intend to. The flames are translucent orange plastic with some darker shading at the base of them. This neck piece is separate, so you can adjust it if you want to bring it down so the head sculpt can look further forward. When you do bring the head sculpt forward, he looks even more mean and menacing. I currently have the LEDs turned on inside the sculpt, and I would suggest you turn them on first, then pop the head sculpt in there, because the switch is underneath this neck cover. Not easy to get to after you've installed the sculpt. The light up effect is okay. It's not bright enough for me. I was hoping his eyes were going to be really bright and piercing. Just look at that thing. From the side, that's a beastly sculpt. If it's a recast, then all credit goes to Hot Toys or whoever the original artist was. But Present Toys still needed to paint it, and they did a great job with the paint applications. And the outfit. Because don't forget, the jacket and the pants, genuine leather. Not pleather, not vinyl, not some kind of synthetic. The real deal. This feels soft and supple, and it's thin enough so that it hugs the body no problem. It doesn't look big and bulky like some 1/6 scale genuine leather outfits do. Hot Toys didn't give us real leather for this version of Ghost Rider, but the one from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did have a real leather jacket. If you wanted to pick up just the outfit parted out from this guy to pop on your Hot Toys Johnny Blaze, that could be a great way of extending the life of that figure, because I've seen plenty with destroyed, deteriorating outfits. Now, the metal chain is currently hooked onto the middle spike on his left shoulder. Then I've grabbed the little spiky and just looped it around the back. It's not the best way of securing the chain in place. I still need to figure out a more permanent solution. All of these pockets, real working zippers, you can open or close them, and then the front one also functional. The lapels are starting to fly away on me. I reckon some alien tape on the underside is going to sort that out real quick. That's some really good sculpt work for the gauntlets. The leather grain texture, the subtle wrinkling right there, the stitching around the pattern, this ribbing detail effect for the top, the silver painted buckle, the way they sit over the gloves, even though they're spiky, to hide the wrist pegs. I love these gauntlets, but they don't love me. They're painful to work with. The spikes aren't as soft as the hand ones. They're really prickly. So when you grab onto these during posing, you can see my hand. They're leaving little dots, little indentations on my hand because that's how sharp they are. So removing them might be a good option if you plan on posing this guy regularly. They've even continued the ends of the sleeves underneath the gauntlets. There's a vent with a zipper on it that is properly functional. They're getting slightly pinched and crunched underneath the gauntlets. I would let them breathe every now and then by just taking those off, doing a pose without them, then you can come back to the gauntlets. I've reinstalled the gauntlet. For the sake of consistency, I want both of them on there. The belt loops are real, but he's not wearing a belt. You can fix that if you want. Functional pockets, a Velcro fly, more pockets around the back, and genuine leather. The stitching is sharp as a pin all the way down, including for these front little detail pieces on his knees. The boots are sculpted plastic. They're pretty high, but they're flared out up top, so they shouldn't get in the way of range of motion. There's stitching on them. Wrinkling. I've said stitching and wrinkling way too many times already, but that's exactly what's going on here. They're not black. They're a really dark brown with a dry brush over the top. And there's some sculpted detail on the heel, but nothing on the underside. They're completely smooth. They have been painted, however. Dude, this shot is like coolness overload. We've got Present Toys Ghost Rider alongside Hot Toys Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Ghost Rider. Johnny and Robbie. Both live-action Ghost Riders. They're going to be inseparable in the collection. I'm always going to display them standing together. Present Toys Ghost Rider is a little bit taller at the shoulders, but then the flames for Hot Toys Ghost Rider extend higher up, so he is overall the taller of the two. His skull is also more stylized versus Johnny's, and he's got jeans and sneakers on versus the full leather outfit for Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider. If I had to pick between them, it'd be tough, but I'm tempted to go with the figure on the left wearing the head sculpt from the figure on the right. Going over articulation, starting off with Ghost Rider's head sculpt. If you've got the Nicolas Cage head sculpt on, you're probably going to get a little bit more range out of it. But they both have a ball joint at the base of the neck. Looking forward to there, looking up to there, that's way more than I was expecting. Swivel and pivot side to side. With this head sculpt, you will need to adjust the collar for the t-shirt after you're done posing. His arms will go up to there, going forward and back on soft ratchets. There's a butterfly joint at the shoulder that hinges up and down. Swivel at the bicep, double bend at the elbow going past 90. Just watch out for the spikes. You don't want them to press up against the real leather outfit. Then for the wrist peg, it's a hinge and swivel. His torso crunches forward to there, just like the head sculpt, way more range than I was expecting. Going back to there, it gets gappy though. Swivel and pivot side to side. His legs will go forward to there on clicky ratchets, almost 90 actually. Going out to there, swivel at the upper thigh. Double bend at the knee on ratchets, going past 90. Then the boots are low cut enough and they're flared out up top, so we get a decent range from the double ball peg for the ankles. Good for forward and back rotation, as well as some ankle tilt. Wrapping up on Present Toys, Skeleton Knight. What a name! They didn't even call him Flaming Skeleton or Fire Skull. Something like that. It was Skeleton Knight. Very weird. He's brilliant. If you never picked up the Hot Toys Ghost Rider like me, and you've been wanting Nicolas Cage as Johnny Blaze ever since, now's your chance. I highly doubt we're ever going to get another official Nicolas Cage release from Hot Toys. Present Toys, y'all killed it. Quite frankly, this is your best release to date. You started off with the basics. You got the proportions right. He looks big and muscular, but it's not overdone. And his neck isn't too long, and his arms aren't too short. Those are all issues they've had previously. This guy has none of them. He also has a genuine leather outfit, which is a nice touch. In fact, it's not a nice touch, it's one of the main reasons why you'd get this. That's how important real leather is to this piece. He's covered in it from head to toe. If they hadn't have gone with real leather, then I don't think he would have been as essential as he now is, at least for my collection. The head sculpts, the Nicolas Cage one, I like, but I'm never going to use it. Most of y'all are never going to use it. It's going right back in the box. He's always going to be rocking the Flaming Skull Ghost Rider sculpt. The light up effect is lackluster, but it's not the end of the world because in your collection, if you've got overhead lighting, this guy's automatically going to look like his head is glowing anyway because of the translucent plastic for the flames. So at the end of this, do I recommend him? Yes. Pretty easy to answer, actually. If you're a Ghost Rider fan, get this. Present Toys, please give us his motorcycle. We need the Hell Cycle. Now, I got mine at a discount from KG Hobby. I've popped a link to their site in the description, but as always, this has not been a promotional video. It's a review. All opinions are 100% my own. If you're heading down there, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button? If you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next video.